All right, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Life and Sound podcast. I'm your host, Kid Capone. Today I have an amazing guest. I've been following him for a few years now. Audio Anthem. He's a Birmingham, Alabama-based sample maker and producer. Grammy Award-winning. He's worked with Kanye West, Anderson .Paak, Nipsey Hussle, just to name a few. He's released amazing libraries of music from his Tabs drum break series to Cherry Lounge to Noir Notes, and I'm really excited to have him on the show. Anthem, how you doing today?
Doing pretty good, man. Thanks for having me on the show, man.
Of course. I know we've been talking for a few years now, and it's good to sit down and actually have an in-depth conversation about the process and what your daily routine's sort of like.
For sure. Yeah, I'm excited about it because we talked about it, a couple months ago. You know what I'm saying? Getting on here and chopping it up. Yeah.
Yeah, man. No, it's great. I feel like you're going to add a lot of great, valuable content and some helpful words of advice for people and, give something to the people watching that'll keep them motivated to keep creating or push themselves to another level.
For sure. I'm excited to be on here and just talk my S word. Can you cuss on here? Can you cuss on here?
Yeah, definitely.
Talk some shit on here.
I love that. No, that's awesome. Perfect. Yeah, we'll start with some of the easier questions, and then we'll move into some of the deeper kind of spiritual side of stuff or whatever as we progress. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So where did you get your name as an artist and as a brand?
Man, that's a funny story. So my super old producer name when I was in high school was called, which is crazy. The same dude gave me the other name. The new name. It was called Ray Pesos. I don't know.
Ray Pesos.
It was because my family called me Ray. They don't call me Ralph or Anthem or nothing like that. They just call me Ray. That's my baby nickname. You know what I'm saying? Because I have a twin brother named Rayshawn or whatever. So when he was a baby, he couldn't say Rayshawn. He used to always call me Ray or whatever.
Yeah.
So they call me Ray as a baby. But the same dude, man, he was like, man, you know what, man, your name should be Anthem because you be making anthems.
I believe that.
I was like, yo, that's kind of a hard-ass name. So from there, I kind of like, man, I'm just going to use Anthem. At first, it was one anthem or whatever. And then over time, I just changed to Audio Anthem. But yeah.
That's definitely what you make.
Right. He gave me the Ray Pesos name. He said, you bought your money, man. I'm going to call you Ray Pesos. I was like, cool, this shit sound fire. Definitely. And then later on down the line, he like, man, you be making anthems. Your name should be Anthem. I said, oh, shit, that's a hard-ass name. So ever since then, that was maybe my senior year in high school, I changed my name to Anthem.
I love that.
Yeah.
And then how did you come up with the Crate League sort of brand name as well?
Man, that came way later on down the line. I'm real big on design and just people often call me a think tank type person. So I'm the type of person that I sit up here and think of a company name or a company idea and make a whole logo for it and all kind of shit like that or whatever. Yeah. So I came up with the Crate League to be a t-shirt line at first. It wasn't even about I wouldn't even think about making samples when I came up with the name Crate League. It was I wanted to take old t-shirts of the vintage, I don't know if you ever seen the records with it's kind of porn, but it's on records.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I was gonna take the t-shirts, take the pictures or whatever, and strip the face off the girl and throw it on a t-shirt or something and call it the Crate League and just sell t-shirts with nobody take this idea. I still kind of want to do this. Take the t-shirts and put the record crate. The record cover on the shirt or whatever.
That'd be
hard.
So
I came up with the name, the Crate League.
I love that.
I bought the domain and stuff, which I still do this day. I come up with a name with something or something Crate. I just buy the domain, just have it or whatever. So that's where the Crate League name came up. I came up with the Crate League name, and I just had it for a t-shirt line. I wasn't even making samples at the time at all.
Okay.
Or whatever. So, what happened was. Mario Luciano. Shout out my boy Mario.
He's the GOAT, man. I love Mario.
Yeah. Incredible sample maker, businessman, homie, friend. So he's the one that told me I should make samples because I wouldn't even, just randomly. I had posted some on my IG page, just random, totally random. Because my personal strength is remaking a vibe or remaking a sound. That's
Yeah.
how I can effectively make the stuff that I make because I know the vibe of it. You know
Of
what I'm
course.
saying? And so he's like, man, you should make samples, bro. And I'm like, oh, yo, send me a 10-pack of samples or whatever. I said, cool. So I just made like just random 10. This is my first sample pack ever. You know what I'm saying? So I just made random 10 joints and sent it to him. He like, yo, I'm gonna send it to Atlas the Plug,
Nice.
which used to be Illmind Manager.
Yeah, yeah.
Because he used to have like a website where he sold samples or so. And I sent it to him, and he was like, "Yeah, man, this is crazy or whatever." And I didn't even think about making samples. So that's how that happened. And Mario was the one that told me I should make samples because I had the talent to make samples or whatever. But yeah, so from then on out, the rest is history. Really, he introduced me to Atlas. That was kind of taking kind of long to like respond back and like put me on Kit So Hard. So I was like, man, you know what? Let me. I understood leverage and understanding like business because I worked in the corporate world, so I understand like just business in general.
Of course.
How to like send business emails and stuff like that. So I was like, let me reach out to this drum broker guy because I'll buy stuff from him all the time. So I had some placements and stuff like that. So I kind of used that as leverage to like reach out. So he would just even remotely listen to it. You know what I'm saying? So that worked out very well.
Definitely.
So yeah. So I just cold emailed him, and the first sample pack I ever made, he picked it up like, yo, this is crazy. This is dope. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, from there on out, we're 110 packs in, man. You know what I'm saying?
That's wild, man. Congratulations.
Yeah.
No, that's cool.
Appreciate it, man.
Did it start with basically you were making beats and producing, and then your samples that you made in your beats like were just so good that Mario was like, yo, you should really consider doing this?
Man, it was totally random. It was I was making beats and stuff like that. I was using and buying other guys' samples and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was because I never even thought about doing it or whatever. I didn't even know it was I knew it was a thing, but I didn't think it was a thing for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Until he said that or whatever. And my mind just got to working and stuff, and I started doing more research, trying to find out, how does Frank Dukes make his stuff sound like that? It's crazy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
And from there, I just came up with like my own process of making samples and stuff like that, and that's pretty much it. But the beat thing, man, really, I'm a way better producer and beat maker than sample maker.
Yeah, no, I've heard your beats. Some of your beats that I've just caught snippets of from like you posting them are incredible.
Yeah, people don't know. Like I'm way, way better, but I don't complain how I get placements and get stuff done. You know what I'm saying? So
of course,
it is what it is. But yeah, it really started out of necessity. At that, when I thought about it or whatever, I was like, okay. I started learning how to recreate vibes and feels and stuff like that. Based on when I used to talk to my manager, this was back in maybe like 10, 15 years ago. They always like, people like, yo, we need something that sound like this, or this hit song, that song. They still do it to this day. Like, we need something that sound like this. So just chasing other people's sounds and stuff, but still being like a sample-based producer, like from the start.
Yeah. Like
sampling from a tape, you know what I'm saying? Just a regular tape or just regular CD and stuff like that. It was already naturally in me because I always used to, like, I started, when I started first making beats, I was sampling.
Yeah.
Period. You know what I'm saying? From the start. Like, I was a record digger. Like, I was all those things. So me now knowing that, okay, that stuff influenced me now where it's natural to me to, when I hear it or make it, it's like a natural thing. I know what sounds go together because I've been listening to records and digging so long and stuff. I know the elements and sounds that they used, for drums and for everything else. But I think I know when I was in college, man, it would be my first placement ever. And it was paying pretty good money too. It was like 15, 20 G's or something.
Nice.
And it was for Killer Mike. Mm-hmm. I almost had a placement with Killer Mike. And I sampled the same sample MOP used for Cold as Ice. I don't know if you ever heard it before. Mm-hmm. You're cold as ice.
Yep.
I sampled that or whatever. So they couldn't get the shit cleared or whatever. So I was like, damn, devastated.
Yeah.
Because in college, having 20 extra bands, you balling. Like, you the man.
Stupid balling.
You just get, you got 20 racks just to blow. You like, oh, man, it's on. I'm going to the mall, get some necklaces, some Jordans. Balling out of control, you know what I'm saying? But it didn't happen, and I was like, damn. So then from there on out, I started getting a little bit better with playing keys. I could play the keys, but I really started focusing on it, like playing the keys better and like just recreating the sound. Or I read in like a scratch magazine where Pharrell said it, and then Timbaland said it too, where he'll sample something, like play over it, and then take the sample out or whatever. So I started doing that like at an early age, like, you know, I sample something and then like replay some stuff and just kind of take it out or whatever. And like, okay, it's kind of got the same vibe.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
It has like a similar bounce, and it's based on like the underlying thing you sampled originally.
Right. I wasn't thinking like with the worthwhile then, because I was like way younger. I was just like in Scratch Magazine reading what Dr. Dre and Knots and Pharrell and all those guys was doing like for their production and stuff. I'm like, man, I want to try that, you know. But yeah.
No, I love that.
Tangent.
No, it's good. No, I love that. And it's cool because it really tells me you're like very much a student of the game, you know, like through you going through the process of sampling and just loving producing and making beats, like you developed this ear early on for knowing what makes a good sample and what people would want to use based on what you would want to use and what was getting placed and those kind of things, which I feel like somewhat is lacking these days. Like a lot of people don't realize that it's like, if you want to make better samples, you got to listen to what people want to sample, even going back and seeing what people have sampled before and like breaking down those elements or those original recordings, those songs. Yeah. And like hearing like the tape saturation, the certain drum sounds, the certain particular break and why they chose to use that, you know? I feel like that's so important.
Right. Yeah, on the flip side of that, I've learned now to just make what you like to make, because people really is about your taste level and what you like to make and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Because I would never have thought, because a lot of stuff that got placement on or whatever, some of it I was like, man, I didn't even like that sample for real. Or I was just making something random. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And other people hear it different. They hear like, yo, I never heard anything like this before. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
So it's like, it's one of those type of things. But now I was like, man, I don't even think about it, because like I can make a pack where it's like I put all this effort in it, like with live strings and all this other shit, and people not even buy it for real. Or I can just make a pack where I just sit up here for like 30 minutes and make half the damn pack, and it go crazy. People just buy it, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I at this point, I shouldn't overthink it. It's just like, do whatever you like to do, you know what I'm saying?
100%.
Whatever your sound is, or whatever you feel, what you think is dope. And then other people, they'll hear the beauty in it and what they can take out of it and use it. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. I feel like they can pick up almost on your joy and how it made you feel when you were making it. And it's one of those things where it's almost like if your friend is really excited about something, it almost makes you excited about it as well, just by your friend's vibe coming off of it. And you could probably hear that in the sample you're making, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I just, you know, at this point now, man, I just try to keep it simple and really just make what I like to make, man. Because this music business is so fucking weird. It's like, the minute you start thinking about it and like stressing about it, it's like, you know, you get caught up in like the game versus just doing what you like to do. It was like, fuck everybody else. I'm just gonna make what I like to make.
Yeah.
If they rock with it, they rock with it. If they don't, they don't. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But somebody's out there is gonna rock with it for sure. You know?
Yeah, that's what's the kind of the beauty of the whole like hip hop producer world in general, is like there's somebody out there who's looking for whatever it is you're making, no matter how weird it is or how classic it is. It could be any different kind of flavor or style, and there's somebody that's like looking for that in their production.
That's right, man. 100%. It's like, like I said, some of the stuff when it plays, I was like, okay, I can see it placing. Like, I think my second pack ever is probably the pack I got the most like huge placements off of. It's like 3 or 4 samples on there that's like huge records.
I love that.
You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I don't know what I was doing this second pack. I'm pretty sure I made it maybe like the week after the first one came out.
Yeah.
Like, this is second pack I ever made. Like ever. And I got a hella like that one pack, man. You know what I'm saying? I feel like this. That one pack, I won a Grammy for one song with this sample, and the same sample was nominated for another Grammy.
Jeez.
It was nominated for so yeah. That's how crazy that pack was. Like one sample, I won the Grammy, and it was still nominated for another Grammy. I could have won 2 Grammys from 2 different songs from the same
sample. That's crazy.
Right. And it didn't. I didn't. It's just random. You know what I'm saying? Just totally random. That And then the way they flipped it was totally different, which was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it gave that same sample like a different take on it each way, and that even goes to show you it's not like somebody just takes your sample and adds drums. It's like people will flip it and alter it and change it and take it somewhere that you didn't even think it was going to be taken originally.
Right. Like different key, different tempo. You know what I'm saying? They did just take the piano loop or whatever and just like use it. But the way they played it and sequenced it, it was totally different. You couldn't even tell. I recently went to the studio of the artist, his label or whatever, went to their studio and was just, because I bought a piece of gear from the engineer, and I told him, that same sample I won the Grammy for or whatever for this song. They were like, for real? That's crazy. I did not know it was the same joint. And I've heard the other song millions of times. I just never knew. This was the mix engineer told me that mixed it.
That's crazy.
So I was like, I was like, that's wow.
Yeah, I've watched you create, and we've talked a little bit about it before, like privately in messages, but I've noticed you work really quickly. Like, how is it that you're able to move so fast? Do you just not overthink and let it flow, or what's that process sort of like?
Man, first, I kind of structure my beats and samples. I tell people this all the time. I make the whole thing in 8 bars.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because when you think about it, as a sampling producer, most of the time, people only sample a small portion of the sample.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It's rare that they like take the whole thing and like just put drums over it. You know what I'm saying? Because I come from I'm 37, so I do come from kind of that middle of the road place where people are using like hardware samplers and then like computer stuff. Mm-hmm. So I'm like right in the middle. So I come from a background where if I sample something, you're not even gonna know that I sample whatever I sample.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna flip it like that. So, yeah. Nowadays it's like a lot of guys, they really just like put drums over it. But you can tell who's the older music producers, because they don't do that. They chop it up and like replay it, different rhythm.
Yep.
They kind of make it their own or whatever. But when it comes to making samples, I just approach it the same way I make beats. You know what I'm saying? I structure in 8 bars and just add parts I needed to add. I think they'll go fit it or complement each other or whatever, and just not try to overthink it. I don't even do too much texture stuff, just unless I just do it on my mix bus.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I know some sample makers, a lot of the homies, they do like mad texture stuff on like each little part or whatever.
Definitely.
I'm like, I ain't got time to do that. You know what I'm saying? You feel me?
Yeah. And I mean, how much, like, while textures and everything are great, at the core, it's like you want the great music. It's not just the texture that's making the sample. While as much as it's nice, it's like, the way I look at it sometimes is like cooking. It's like, people want the meat and potatoes of the dish. Like, the spice is great, and obviously it adds flavor, but people are eating it for the meat and potatoes of the dish, Right.
I think the difference is if the texture is like a part of the recording, like for instance, like Mario, he records, like the way he records his stuff is the texture is baked in when he's recording, because he's actually using live instruments, like mics, the vintage mics, all that stuff like that. Most of the shit I'm doing is on the computer. You know what I'm saying? I just know how to make it sound like it wasn't recorded on the computer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like to the point where I sold all my synths. I had hella synths and stuff like that. Some stuff I regret selling, like my Rhodes and my Whirly. I was like, damn, I should have kept it, because the price on those like used cars now.
It's crazy.
So I'm like, damn, I should have kept. It's dumb. I was like, I should have kept them. I got that Rhodes for like $700.
Ooh, yeah, no, that would have been.
It was mad nice too. I should have kept it, but yeah, it's just it's it's all in the ear and the person, man, for real. You know what I'm saying? Because people will swear up and down. They're like, man, you made this on the computer? And I'm like, yeah, you know.
It's because you got the taste for it, and I feel like, again, because you were a student of the game, and you're really good at analyzing sound. You can just kind of pick up on, all right, what is this sounding like, even frequency wise or tape wise, like saturation. It's like I'm trying to get that same color and character as the records that I know people love to sample.
Right, and that's really the main thing for me, man. It's just because, like I said, when I produce, I use a whole bunch of other people's stuff like all the time, and I be amazed and blown away. Like, damn, it's crazy how you make this sound like that. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. But for me and my sound, I just I take whatever somebody else makes or whatever if I'm making beats, and then just make it my own. You know what I'm saying. But with the samples, I just don't overthink the samples. I just, do what I can do. If it's something that I can't do, then I just hire other session musicians. To do stuff, to get stuff done. Because I'm a decent keyboard player. Like, I'm probably better than most. You know what I'm saying? That's like regular people just making beats and stuff like that. But if it's something real specific, like if I'm making a real like gospel sound impact, then I'm probably gonna tap in with my dude that plays like actually play gospel keys, church stuff. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That plays better than me, so he can like knock it out. Or even with the bass stuff, I can play the bass, but if I just I need that extra sauce, I just hire one of my other homies to play, better than I do or whatever.
Yeah. But would you say that collaboration has been like key to some of your best samples or like growth as far as being a sample maker?
Oh, for sure. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of packs, I wouldn't say a lot of them, but quite a few I've worked with people on. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes what I do is I may hear a sample from somebody else, and I may like just one part, or I think, okay, that's the, the driving part of it or whatever. So I may take that part and just do my thing, add my sauce into it, and then we collab that way or whatever.
Yeah. You
know what I'm saying? And a lot of the collaborations that I've had have been like that. Unless it was like a Crate Lead Select pack, only thing I usually did in those packs were like mix them or whatever, so it can have the same texture as the stuff that I put out. Yeah, or whatever. But some of the other packs, like the French collection, I did those with it's amazing. He's in France, and a lot of the stuff we did together is like he'd send me stuff, and I'm like, man, a lot of these other sounds I don't really like, but I like this one particular sound.
How would you say your relationship with music has changed now versus when you were a kid?
I think when I was a kid, it just made me feel good. It still does now, but sometimes if you're in the music business, like really in it, it can jade you a lot. You know what I'm saying? Make you jaded or make you just hate the music business. But as far as just like creating music and how it makes me feel, I still think I feel the same way I do as a kid. But the flip side is I'm kind of wiser and not as naive when it comes to like, dealing with the people in the music biz. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because if you felt that other vibe of it as a kid, you probably would hate music.
Shit,
you would grow up to hate it. You'd be like, fuck this shit, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I feel like from what I've seen, like from talking to a few sample makers, it's like this is one of those weird industries where it's like this is like the only industry it seems like where you'll put in all the work and you'll get the placement and the song will come out and you still haven't gotten paid, or they still are holding back their money for you and stuff.
For sure. Like it's been like, I mean, I got one song. It's been a year and I still ain't got paid yet for. The only caveat is if it's a huge artist, like a big artist, like Kid Cudi, like I got some, like this song with Kid Cudi and like Corday and stuff like that. Like they pretty much on that because the rule of thumb in music is like nobody wants to get sued at all. Yep. You know what I'm saying? So the bigger artists and shit, especially bigger artists, because, you can swing for the fences on a lawsuit for them. You know what I'm saying? But like
definitely
a little B-list or C-list artist that ain't got no budget for us, like, all right, whatever. They drag that shit out, which is weird to me. But like the big artists, man, they get that shit, like, it's probably the quickest I ever got paid for something. Like it took, like I got paid like in a week. Like I found about the song on a Monday, and then like the next Monday, I had probably got the direct deposit for the song. I was like,
Yeah.
damn, this is quick,
No,
But
that's
like I
nice
said, it's
though.
a priority thing. Like, but if it's like some other shit, no, they dragging that shit out. It really be the lawyers, man, for real. Be the
Yeah.
lawyers, and then be the business affairs departments and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? No shots at any business affairs department, but they be dragging that shit out.
Yeah, which is so odd because you'd think something as big as a corporation, as a label or something, would just be like trying to make business as smooth and easy for everybody.
Nah, a lot of producers don't know. Most of these labels and stuff be 60 to 90 days net or whatever. Which means you don't get paid until like 60 to 90 days after the song come out. Or
Yeah.
whatever. You know, in special cases where it's like a huge artist, they're gonna make sure everything is like zip lock tight. But usually it's like 60 to 90 days. And then on top of that, everybody has to have the paperwork in. So if the contract's not done or the agreements aren't signed and stuff like that, they're not gonna pay you anything.
Makes sense.
So that's a lot of the hold up and stuff like that. And that's a lot of frustration. And then sometimes producers just don't have their shit together. Like they don't be set up in the systems and stuff like that. You know, they don't send back the paperwork they need to send back, like their tax paperwork and all the other shit like that. So it's a lot of moving factors. But luckily, I'm glad I have a pretty good manager where he kind of give you a heads up. You know what I'm saying? And he gives me more game because he actually has like a label deal and shit. So I kind of get like the inside scoop on how to like navigate it
Smart.
better than kind of other producers and shit. So when I be seeing like I never got paid and stuff, I'm like, well, I don't be having those problems for real because you know what I'm saying, I just make sure my shit I need to do is done. You know?
Yeah, your business is in order and all that.
Yeah, gotta be because.
What's that kind of like when you so when you get a placement? It's like, do they send you paperwork and those kind of things? You got to fill all that out and like kind of agree to, is like almost like an NDA kind of thing as well.
Not really. I never received an NDA for any placements. They probably do that for like huge artists, but most of the time, 90% of these guys, unless they know for a fact or they're in the room, they don't even knowing that they own the shit until like maybe a few days before. Like, or like a week before. They don't even know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sometimes they do know, but most people, they don't be knowing. You know.
And they just kind of let you know a week ahead?
Yeah. They let you know like a week ahead. Like my manager, he used to call me or text me like, yo, you got one on Kid Cudi or whatever. Like, oh shit, who used the sample? Who did whatever? And he'd tell me or whatever. Because most of the time, like, I don't know how other sample makers handle their business when it comes to getting the sample cleared and stuff like that. But most of the times, if you contact us to get something cleared, we have to A, hear the song, B, see how much you use to determine if it's derivative or just master use. You know what I'm saying? And then pretty much what's the splits, what's the terms and stuff like that. Because sometimes the splits be different. You know what I'm saying? Maybe a person may want to take all the publishing, you know what I'm saying? Like they have somebody on the song that's a legend or whoever. They be like, yo, I need 90% of the publishing or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of that stuff come into play and like, you know, negotiating and stuff like that. But most of the times, you know, they try to squeeze play you most of the times, man. Which means they try to rush the shit and get it done instead of like hitting you like 2 months before. Like, yo, you know, let's figure this out. Some people do that, but a lot of times it's like, okay, this comes out next week. These are the terms or got to negotiate and haggle from there. You know,
yeah,
to get what you deserve. It's whack.
Yeah, it's odd too, especially when you're the one like creating the music for it. And it's like, I know obviously you're not the entire puzzle, but you definitely are a piece of the puzzle for them to make the song. So it's weird as far as negotiating splits has got to be like a weird situation, I'm sure.
That's why you have a manager and a lawyer, man. You know what I'm saying? Or really a lawyer, if anything, you know, to be the bad guy. To be like, nah, we're not taking that $2,000, man. We're going to need about 10. You feel me? You know,
I love that. No, that's
go
smart.
check my credentials, buddy. You know.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you have the repertoire and like, you know, the history of doing great work. It's like my value is not just this thing you're assuming it is. It's like I can tell you what my value is.
Yeah, the thing is, man, and my manager always says, he's like, you get what you negotiate. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't say anything and you just kind of just cool with it, in some situations to keep the relationship where it makes sense business wise, you may do that. And in some other cases, you be like, hey, fuck them guys, man. I need my cheese, you know what I'm saying? Or I need this pub split or whatever to be right, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just, you know, it's when they say it's a game, it's like it shouldn't be that way. It's like a game. It's like you really had to like play chess and not be playing checkers. You know what I'm saying?
For real. No, that's smart. I can tell you really love J Dilla and the impact he's left on music as a whole. You have the Dillist series, which I think is absolutely incredible. What made you decide to create that series?
Man, it was the drums really. When I kind of like putting the pad together, I just heard the vibe of the drums. I was like, oh, this sounds like some Dilla shit, like for real. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. It was just the vibe I was in when I was making it. So I made the first one. The Tab series really, when I was making it and stuff with the drums and just the vibe, I was like, man, this sounds like some Dilla shit. So I was like, you know what? Let me just sit down and just make some Dilla feeling shit or whatever.
Yeah.
So I did the first one and it went dumb crazy. Like
that pack's so good.
Yeah, like the other tab packs is dope too. Like the first one went super crazy, but that one in particular, I think I might have something with this series or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I just in the vibe, man. I started feeling like it was a natural thing because that's the music I love listening to. And like he's like my favorite producer, or whatever. You know, and it just turns into like one of those things where like, oh man, I just love it. It's to the point that like other like legend hip hop producers like hit me up about it. Like, yo, this pack crazy. Like Kareem Riggins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like other dudes like Pete Rock, like other like big producers like that from like back in the day. Like he was like, yo, this pack is like really inspirational. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. And believe it or not, it's like one of the easiest packs I made. For real, for me. To sit down and make it. Yeah, it's pretty easy.
What was that process
like?
Beats. Yeah, what was that process like? Yeah, just making beats?
Pretty much, yeah. It's like, man, I got the drums. You know, I got a drummer. He lives in the UK or whatever, because I don't have space for drums. But I know how to process and play drums. So I just tell him like specifically what I want. You know what I'm saying? Patterns, all that stuff, tempo. You know what I'm saying? He cook it up or whatever. And then I get the drums back and I do my processing and editing stuff. And then I just like start making the beat. I just add the rest of the instruments and stuff like that to it, you know. And I just treat it like that, man. What would Dilla do? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
WWJD, you feel me?
100%. I feel like the sounds that you used in the pack too were very like, they reminded me of like donuts and those kind of things, like very much like on brand for J Dilla and for yourself.
Yeah. It's really the nuances of the little stuff he did, like when he made beats and stuff, like the little sprinkles of stuff that like fills in the little small ghost notes in space that he do with his drums and stuff like that. So I was like, I naturally got that feel when it comes to beats and just being a producer and stuff like that. So it's like, this is easy. Like I probably made that pack in like an hour or something.
See, I love that. Like it shows you, you know, you don't really tend to overthink your samples, you know, especially if you know the feeling. Like it's like all about that. You're like, I know this slaps, I know this, like, you know, it just hits the right way. I don't need to do more to like make it already get to where it is.
And what's so crazy about it, if you go back and listen to the whole Tab series, it's damn near the same instruments. all the back, it's the same instruments. Like I really use the same bass sound, it's the same thing. It's just like I just add a little more sprinkles here and there. I might change the piano to a different piano or whatever, or might add like just a random synth sound. But for the most part, a lot of the sounds are like the same sounds. Like I can take all this palette of sounds and make so much different stuff with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like an artist with like the right colors, you know, and doing a painting.
Right. That shit to be fucking people up. They're like, damn, it is the same sounds, because they don't notice it or whatever.
No, because it's the feeling that you're getting through, even though you are using the same sounds. Would you say that like using a set palette of sounds or like the same sounds and just creating a bunch of different compositions from that set palette of sounds is like a good way to work quickly and kind of limit yourself in a good way?
It is if you're trying to do something specific like that. Like that's very specific. You know what I'm saying? So I know with the Tab series, I'm trying to make some grungy, just like either like some boom bappy stuff or the traditional just grummy Conway, like Griselda sound and stuff. Like I stick to those palette of sounds that would be in that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I usually make templates for certain series of packs. I have so many different series. I usually just do a template. You know what I'm saying with them. Even when it comes down to like the mixing and the master bus or whatever. Like some of the packs have its own specific just sound to it. You know what I'm saying? Like heat index would sound different than a Tabs pack. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. So for the most part, I try to do it sometimes, but sometimes I just sit and make it from scratch, just start from scratch or whatever. You know, I always had to go-to instruments that I use a lot, which are like bassline instruments, like the bass or just like regular keys, upright piano or whatever. Like I always go to those over and over again. But, you know, the more unique sounds, that's when I get into doing more sound design and like kind of making it a little bit unique when it comes to that driving melody of the sample. You know what I'm saying? I'm real big on having a driving melody in production and samples and stuff like that. So it'd be that one thing that kind of just drives it.
Yeah.
That it gives me, but it still gives me enough space to build other stuff around it. To make it more, you know, bigger.
How did you like learn that like concept? Was that just something through the process you just kind of picked up? And
man, really just listening to beats. You know what I'm saying? Listening to beats and just developing my production skills. Because really, like I said, I'm a better producer and song producer than like musician and sample maker for sure. So just knowing how to produce records, it's like I know this thing drives the song. So okay, let me build around that to give space to whatever, you know what I'm saying, to that one thing. But what's so crazy about it is you don't even notice it, that it's like that one thing driving the whole thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or whatever. So I can start a sample with like this weird, just crazy textured thing, synth or whatever, loop. You know what I'm saying? 4 bars, something.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be the driving force behind me adding the other counter melodies and stuff and different stuff to it, playing off that one sound.
Yeah.
You know.
How do you know like when, I guess, because even I'm trying to like discover and work on this myself, is how do you know when a sample is like too busy or like, you know, it's almost too hard for an artist to write over? You know what I mean?
That's what it like me being like a producer thing comes in, because when I used to make beats like early on, I used to put tons of shit like when Timbaland was big and I was using like those like cheesy sounding synths and different stuff like that. I used to just like layer shit just crazy or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, I found out by just directly working with artists my manager had, because he had a record label for a long time, but he had artists, and just working on records with them, more so like R&B stuff, really, if anything. I learned how to produce from making R&B stuff.
Okay.
So in R&B stuff, you still have to give space to the singer to sing. You don't want stuff in the space where they're going to be singing. So that's why I kind of learned, okay, maybe I need to strip back sounds and stuff like that, you know. And just from doing that, that's what it making the sample shit was easy at that point, because I know what sounds to take out. And a lot of producers like my stuff because, and the main thing is a lot of dudes use my shit because they don't have to do anything but put drums on it. It's already structured as a song. So that's how I like made my sound. I structured the shit. It's like if I was doing a song or producing a song without a bridge, because I don't be doing bridges and shit like that in samples.
Yeah.
But I have it structured like a song. Like I do an 8-bar, that would be like the hook. And then I drop out some sounds and stuff like the next like 16, 12 bars or whatever. And that'd be the whole sample.
Yeah. And it makes it easy for a producer, like you were saying.
Right. So that's one thing I do. And I tell guys that all the time, like, man, you can pin as many sounds you want to, just make it in 8 bars and just structure it up. From there, you kind of see, okay, maybe I need to drop this out, or maybe I need to pitch this down or whatever to add a different variation on this part or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Versus just like, let me add this whole extra elaborate thing over here to, like, you know what I'm saying? Which is nothing wrong with that. That's your thing. But I'm in the business of helping dudes make records and just like make it easy for producers to use my shit. And I had to like think about how to approach it. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. Like for me, when I was making my first sample pack that I dropped, I kind of, through the process of creating it, was like, okay, I kind of stack as much as I can in a decent way vertically, and then start going horizontally and taking away stuff.
Yep, that's exactly how I do it. Like I make everything in the 8 bars. You know what I'm saying? I may do the driving loop or whatever in 4 bars and loop that up, and then add the rest of the stuff. And then from there, I just loop it up and just start stripping stuff. You know, just like that, man. That's really the key. That's even the key to actually producing, not beat making. You know what I'm saying? Nothing wrong with beat making. I sit here and make beats all the time. But actually producing, you got to think about giving space to the artist to do their part. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. So, what would you say is like some of the best ways to kind of strongly differentiate between a chorus and a verse when you're producing?
Well, I would drop out whatever is in the high range in the verse part. So if you got like some high keys or some shit like that, I would take that out, or I would make it pitch it down. You know what I'm saying? In the verse part. You know what I'm saying? So like most vocals are like kind of like in the mid range area. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So you don't really want nothing kind of heavy going on in like the low mid range to like mid range area. So you would take that out. So either you would make it just low, you know what I'm saying? Or just take out the high sound and just keep what you got in there. You know what I'm saying?
That's smart.
So I'll do it that way. If you're thinking about it in the mix way, you know what I'm saying? Like a mix engineer, that's what he probably would do. Like, if it's something clashing with the vocals or the middle part, he's going to kill that. He's going to instantly. He's going to notch that out. You know what I'm saying? So it's like almost like the same thing. Like you make it easy. Like I had mix engineers tell me like, man, I love your beats, man. They're just so easy to mix. They already almost like mixed, really.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not going to put nothing in there that's clashing with, you know what I'm saying, with that range of stuff. So kind of just knowing mixing too, and just like knowing the frequency on spectrum and stuff like that kind of helps too. But in the technical sense, if it's too high, take it out. If it's like too low, whatever, you know what I'm saying? It's cool.
Yeah, just as long as the vocalist has room to float on top, that's key at the end.
You feel me? Because all a producer's gonna do in your sample is really pitch it down. Use what's the pitch thing everyone use?
Sound shifter.
Sound shifter is another one.
Halftime.
Yeah.
Halftime and roast beat.
You feel me? I'm throwing that on the beat quick. Like if I'm trying to add some variation or something, you know, I'm throwing that on there.
I feel like that's even a good way to test, like if your sample is at a good spot, either putting halftime on the sample and giving them a section of that, or even just testing it with it on there and being like, what is this going to sound like if they start trying to pitch it down and flip it?
Right. Or even pitch it up and flip it. Like, you know what I'm saying? I know that's one thing I rarely ever test samples like where I'm like, okay, let me make this shit is like, you know, I don't do it for real. But when I do it, I know it's fire. I'm like, oh shit. Like I throw it in like Serato sample and like speed it up and chop it up and make something totally different. I'm like, oh yeah, this shit is fire.
I love that. That's like a good way to do almost like a bounce check, just to see if the beat's bouncing, the sample sounds good.
Right. Yeah. I've had some instances where I bought people sample packs and stuff like that. No, I'm not trying to shoot a shot at anymore. But I like do that, and I'm like, man, I don't know what's going on right now. You know
yeah. I feel that.
Yeah.
Do you feel like on any given day you could create a sample that you would love, regardless of, you know, like what's hot or not in the music game?
Now, yeah, because I don't care, really. Because the music game is more so about the producer that's in the room with these people or having access to these people. Because that's the thing I tell guys all the time. Like, these dudes at the top, you know what I'm saying? Some of them are just like amazing. Don't get me wrong. Like, some dudes are like, yo, this dude crazy with it. But for the most part, they just have the opportunity and the looks. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's not really about, like, being prolific at something or just being so much better than everyone else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just that they're in the room. They got the opportunity to know the right people. You know what I'm saying? And I tell guys that all the time. I'll be like, man, your shit, like I didn't have plenty of guys because I sent like a message out the other day on the Cray League page, just looking to work with other designers and stuff. And guys would send me dope stuff, man. They were like, man, I just never thought it was that dope or whatever. And I'll be like, nah, it's dope. You know what I'm saying? It's just like the right person has to hear it, you know?
Yeah.
I have to be in front of the right person or whatever. Then you realize that, damn, I was pretty damn good. You know what I'm saying? Like me making my second ever sample pack won me a Grammy and all this other stuff. And back then I wasn't even thinking about it like that. I was just doing some shit. You know what I'm saying? Now looking back, I was like, damn, I was actually hard as hell. You know?
100%.
You know? But I just tell guys, man, just do what you can do. If you can't do it, man, get a couple of dollars and get somebody that can do it better, you know?
Yeah. And at the end of the day, it sounds like, you know, you can be great at something, and it's not even about, like you said, somebody being more prolific or better than you. It's just getting your sample into the right hands and in the right opportunity. Right. And then that's when you get, you know, your validation and your credentials for like how good you are. You're like, wow, I actually was dope this whole time. It just needed to find its way to the right hands.
Right. I tell dudes that all the time, man. I'd be like, man, this shit is actually straight. You know what I'm saying? It's just, you know, just got to keep going and keep working, man. You know,
definitely.
Just keep the encouragement up.
No, it's so true. And are there any tricks or like production techniques that you have to make your creation process quicker and easier? I know you touched a little bit on creating a template or like an idea for a certain pack or sound. Is there anything else that works quickly or a technique you have?
Man, some of the stuff depends on how fast your computer is. I would say like, because I've seen like composers like not Hans Zimmer. What's the other dude name? Damn, he got a YouTube page. It's crazy. Junkie XL. Mm-hmm. Like he has like all his sounds already loaded and shit. They're just not like on or whatever.
Yeah.
So you could do some shit like that where you got like the go-to stuff that you use. Cause I'm a neat freak when it comes to organization.
Same.
So I do this kind of, cause I use Reason. Mm-hmm. And you can make like folders of like VSTs that you use and shit like that. So I have all that shit like labeled and pretty much just like have all the stuff that I use right there. Like I know keys or synths or whatever that I go to and use all the time. I just drag and drop pretty quick. So I would think just like organizing your like library, your sounds and VSTs and shit, and like the stuff you don't use, just don't fucking use it. Just take it out or whatever. Just having that part organized like helps so much. You know what I'm saying? I say it helps more than even. It helps a lot. I know now I'm trying to get into doing more, which I would have did from the start. When I first started, it's making like actual presets for stuff. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm doing it more now. And I could just go back and just go through my all stuff that I didn't actually bounce down and like just make presets and stuff or whatever. Or make like Reason has this thing called the Combinator. Or you can combine the sound, like combine the sounds and stuff and make like a preset or whatever. Kind of make your own patch, a synth patch or whatever. So I would go back and do that. So just basically just being as organized as possible, even down to when you finish with a pack and doing like the assets and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like anytime you can organize your shit and streamline it like that, it makes you like way quicker at doing stuff. You know what I'm saying?
I would agree. I know for me, whenever I come across like a good chain or a good sound, I definitely, because I work in Ableton, I'll save it as a preset. Like if I create, you know, I'll start with like a sine wave pad or something from Analog Lab, but then I'll put effect rack and, you know, different processing, and like I'll have a whole 8 plugin kind of chain, and I'll just save that whole instrument as something I can come back to later. It's like if I want to pull up a crazy textured pad, it's just, I know it's there. And even having that, like, you know, making a sample you're confident in and then saving a lot of those sounds as presets lets you kind of, I'm learning right now, it's like I can go back to those and put them together and almost make a pack like we were talking about of using the same palette of sounds just in a new way, which I think is smart, and I should do that more myself. And I'm kind of learning that as I'm speaking to you right now, which I feel like is really valuable.
It helps, man, like save time and stuff like, because the person, they don't know, like, oh shit, he used the same synth sound. You know what I'm saying? Because you can always tweak it or just do like small things on it. But for the most part, I have go-to stuff that I go to and use all the time, you know?
Yeah.
For sure. Like, sometimes I just go through sounds and like, oh, this sounds good with this and just rock with it. But for the most part, the basic stuff like keys, bass, you know what I'm saying, guitar, like I use like the same like VSTs and sounds for it.
I like that. And you play a lot. You play most of the instruments that you hear in your packs. Like I hear you play the guitar, you'll play the bass lines as well. You play the keys.
Yeah. Some stuff like trumpet and like strings and stuff, I hire people to do that. But like if it's something taking too long for me to play it, I just play it on the keyboard. I'd be like, fuck it. I can just play it on the keyboard.
Yeah, 100%.
Like if I'm playing bass line and I can't figure out, okay, how I want to go with it, I was like, you know what? You saw probably see me in my live dude, but I like, fuck this shit. I'm going to play it on the keyboard or whatever.
Yeah, it just whatever makes the workflow easier to not slow down creating the sample, right?
Yeah. Because sometimes I know me when producing, I get into the vibe. I just be grooving and shit. And just like, you won't get shit done. You be like, oh man, I just waste like an hour just trying to come up with a bass line. I could just play it in 5 minutes on the keys.
Yeah. That's one thing I've been trying to do recently, like the last week or so. I learned from a stupid Lou. He told me about like writing parts in MIDI first, you know, like or something you're easily able to write on and then playing it on a live instrument. Like I know the other day I took like a keyscape. I just took a keyscape piano and I had wrote like a basic, like the melody first. And then I was like, all right, what would the bass sound like under this? So I'd find the bass line kind of on the low part of the piano. And I'd be like, all right, what would like a top line part over that be? And just kind of played it all in keyscape, but then played each individual line like on the bass, played it on the guitar, like played the top line on like a synth in Analog Lab and put it together. And I felt like it was a good way of composing and producing. It taught me a lot, but it also taught me almost like what not to do. Kind of like I had something that we were talking about earlier. I had a part that was kind of in too high of a register where I could tell it would have been clashing with a vocal. And first thing I had to do, I had to pitch it down an octave because I was like, it's not in that right spot.
Yeah, and after a while, it becomes like a natural thing where you don't even think about it. You just do it off rip. You know what I'm saying? I know for me, a lot of times I like just don't even think about it. I just like, oh, okay, this is not gonna work. Or this sounds not gonna work. You know?
Yeah, it's internalized now.
Guitars are tricky sometimes because the resonance or whatever. Sometimes it could be like just gnarly, just mad, just nasty sounding.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So. Shout out Soothe. You have Soothe?
Oh, yes, sir. I use it on a lot of stuff. No, that's the magic.
Soothe, a lifesaver.
I love that plugin. Yeah, it can take care of damn near any problems you have frequency-wise when you're mixing.
Yeah. Smooth Operator, too. Shout out Baby Audio. They like one of my sponsors.
Yeah, no, Smooth Operator is great as well.
Yeah. So just using like little stuff like that, man. If it just gets too grungy, sound like hurt my ears, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, tone it down. So what are your daily habits sort of like as far as, waking up and creating? I know you're a dad as well, so that definitely takes up a lot of time now.
Shout out Riley. Yeah, man. Before her, I had a regular job and then I actually got fired from that job, which was like God telling me I should go do music full time because I was about to leave anyway. Like I was literally gonna put my 2 weeks in like the next month or whatever. And they was like, yeah, Rav, we're just gonna go in another direction. Cause I had been there like 7 years and shit. But anyway, like after that, I kind of had to, I'm a big fan of listening to podcasts and stuff like that. So I just learned a lot about like time management and stuff like that. So it used to be I wake up in the morning, you know what I'm saying? Take my dog for a walk, go get some coffee about like 9:30, 10, come back and work on beats, really work on samples from like 10 to maybe like 1 or 2, get some lunch, come back and work from like 2:30 to like 6. My wife got off work. Yeah. And that was like pretty much my routine, you know what I'm saying? Before COVID, that was my routine. And then I had a baby during COVID. So it turned into when she actually got here. I had got to the point where I had got a studio space in one of my homies' studio. Shout out Bandwidth Studios. and I was leaving the crib. My wife was working from home, so I need to get studio space, man. Because women, they be want to do shit, go to lunch and do all this other random stuff during the day. You like, bro, I got shit to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, to them, it doesn't look like you work, like it's work. You're working.
But you are. You're definitely putting in a lot of brain power, a lot of creativity. It's definitely work.
They just feel like you're more flexible with time. So I'm like, man, I got to go get a studio space, man. You know what I'm saying? So I was going to there. It's like a 15, 20-minute drive. So I was doing the same thing, just leaving the crib, going to the studio, cooking up, and then coming back home by 5:36. You know what I'm saying? So my now that she's in daycare and stuff, it's pretty much the same. Like I get up in the morning, take her to daycare, you know what I'm saying? Pick up some coffee, come back, and just try to get her to work. But what hurt is getting out of that routine when she was first born, because I literally had no time to do work on stuff. But at night, but I was so used to working in the daytime, like for at least 3 years, treating like a regular job, I couldn't just come get on the computer at night and work on beats or work on music. So it's like, it fucked me up for like 6 months.
Yeah, you had like a set routine you had been used to and like a flow and kind of like a way you were working. And then when that all changed, because I know a newborn takes like full time.
Man, it's intense, bro. And I was not fucked up. Like I literally really just started to get back in the rhythm like maybe 2 months ago. She just turned 1 last week. So it took me almost like a year to get back into doing shit, like I usually do it. And really, I would say this week is like the first week where I feel like, you know what, I'm gonna get back to my routine that I had that made me successful and stuff like that. Because it just be so much other random shit when you work from home.
Yeah.
And then your wife work from home too. You know what I'm saying?
So you're both there and you got clashing time and like, you be trying to work on stuff. She's wanting your attention, different stuff.
Your attention, and you got a baby. Like one day she be cool, the next day she may be sick and need to go to a doctor or something, or just like yesterday, like we were supposed to do this yesterday, and my whole day just got fucked up. And my wife's like, man, let's go to lunch for Cinco de Mayo. I said, cool. I got enough time to go to lunch. You can come back, get on the call.
Yeah.
And then she's like, oh, we got a doctor's appointment. You forgot about her. Because she got like the little helmet thing, whatever, to kind of like shape her head or whatever. She about to get out of it though. She's like, you forgot we got the appointment. I'm like, fuck. So like pretty much my whole day was just gone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's
when
like
we get off here, she got to go to the doctor at like 2:30 because apparently something bitter. Like I don't know, spiders, something bitter. I don't know on her leg and shit. So it's like, damn it,
You're gonna get taken care of, I'm sure.
Day up in flames, man. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. I just been trying to fight through it. Talking to other producers, like shout out Needles and Jake One and like MTK and a lot of those guys that got kids that has been through it and just kind of just giving me game on how to like kind of navigate like the dad life and like being creative and getting shit done, man.
It's a balancing act for sure.
It is, man. Like, like your money, your bread will fall off, man. Especially in this business, if you have to work to make the money and stuff like that. So if you ain't working and shit, it's like money just go up in flames, man. It's like, damn it.
Yeah. What is some helpful advice you would give to sample makers or producers trying to connect with artists and other producers as well?
Oh shit. Oh man, this is Jesus Christ. Okay. All right. So first thing, I'm 37, so I'm a lot older than a lot of guys that reach out, hit me up and stuff like that. And I come from a corporate background, like having an actual job where you send like business emails and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think the first thing is, okay, on a basic human level, the first thing is adding value or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Figure 100%. Out a way you can add value to that person or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's easier to build a relationship and like even get stuff done. Like me personally, some people I don't even like do business with, and I just think of them because I built a relationship with them when opportunities come up, and I send it to them like, yo, I think you'd be dope for this. Let me link you up with so-and-so or whatever. Just because I built a relationship with them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And whatever. And or I feel like they offer value to me in some way. Even if they don't offer value to me. If they contact me the right way and we correspond the right way, then it's little stuff like that. But one thing I noticed that dudes do is, hey, they just randomly get your email.
That's weird.
Which is, I mean, people have their emails on their page and stuff like that. But if you're gonna cold email some people, like at least find a good way to send a business email. You know what I'm saying? Hi, my name is Joe Blow. I'm from so and so. You know what I'm saying? I'm a big fan of your work, whatever. And obviously, I'm interested in doing some work with you guys. You know, I've done X, Y, Z, or I haven't done shit before. I'm looking to grow as a producer or a sound designer. If you get a chance, check out my stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Professional. That's easy.
That's professional. Not, hey, my name is Zulu Jones. I'm from the Congo. Listen to these 5 samples.
Yeah, there's no
you know what I'm saying?
There's no like value there or any like human like real connection. You're not even telling me you value me. You're just saying, hey, I know you have connections. Listen to my stuff.
Right. And I get a shit ton of those. You know what I'm saying? Or even on a producer level, I have like other producers that's like, I don't say they bigger producers, but they done stuff. And they like, the way they reach out to you be whack. You know what I'm saying? Like, you'll send me your whole library or whatever.
Yeah.
Need stuff for so-and-so.
Cold messaging.
Yeah, I need stuff for Coochie Man. Send to this email. I'm like, bro, you ain't say like who you are, what you done before. You know what I'm saying? Let's get on the phone, let's build, shoot me a text, let's chop it up or whatever. Yeah. None of that shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, bro, I don't give a fuck who you work with. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? But you're gonna approach me like a man first. First thing. And secondly, like, we're gonna do some business. Like, you're trying to really do some business. You know what I'm saying? Because all that does is scream to me is that you ain't got your shit in order. You know what I'm saying? You don't know how to do business the right way. You know?
Yeah, I would agree. It sounds like that.
And, right. And that's really the main thing. Like, I'm big on like just like building personal relationships with people. But it's not something I think about. That's just naturally who I am.
Yeah.
Because a lot of my producer homies, like bigger producer homies, I'm actually just friends with. Like, I've never like been like, yo, let me send you some shit. You know what I'm saying? Or we made develop a relationship from them using my stuff. And I'm like, oh, dude, he mad cool. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. You know, shout out Ayo, shout out Tariq Beats, shout out Jake One. There's a lot of dudes like I'm like kind of cool with just being cool. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's wild that you even mentioned Tariq because he lives like 40 minutes away from where I live. Like, he lives nearby, and my friend goes and plays basketball. It's hot as shit
out there, bro.
Dude, right now, it's literally 105 degrees right now. It is hot, bro.
It's hot as fuck out there. But now Tariq Beats, man, he mad cool, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? And we got songs together, but it's like, it's never forced. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's a real genuine friendship and business relationship.
You feel me? Like, we DM each other funny shit all day, every day. Like, just random funny stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, those type of like relationships and stuff like that, man, those are the people you think about first. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
You know, and I think I take it for a lot of guys just being young and just not understanding like people. I went to college for psychology, you know what I'm saying? And business, like business management and stuff like that.
Yeah, so you have more insight into marketing. Like the interaction between people, whereas like a lot of young people, especially I feel like a lot of young people now, because they are so used to being on their phone all the time and messaging people, it's like they don't know the human interaction anymore.
It's not. It's like, bro, I'm not one of these girls you trying to holler at or smash, bro.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not. If I was, you weren't gonna get me like that. You gotta come. I gotta be impressed. I was like, okay, you seem like you got a good man or a good woman, got his shit together. You know what I'm saying? We can do something. But nah, that's the thing I think a lot of guys are missing or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Even like I said, even like guys that's already in the industry doing stuff, man. Some dudes be assholes. They just don't be. You scream that you're not a good person, like when you come like that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm good. I don't need whoever the fuck you work with. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Because you ain't the only person that know them or that work with them. So I don't 100%. Have to, you know, you feel me? So yeah. So my thing is, man, you know, if you want to know how to reach out to people properly, you can shoot me a DM or a message. I'll tell you.
I've done it, man. And that's how we first connected. And you've always been friendly, always been cool. I feel like I've never come at you in like let's collab. I've never even talked to you, you know? Like, I've even sent you videos of me like playing a guitar sample and been like, is this fire or no? And you're like, fire. And I was like, great, easy.
Yeah, it's like, because I'm not an asshole. And that's the thing that's like fucking people up. They're like, man, you mad cool, bro. I'm like, I'm a normal dude, man. I get up and walk my dog every day. You know what I'm saying? I'm not rich. You know what I'm saying? I'm good as far as like taking care of my family and stuff like that. But I'm not like Kanye billionaire wealthy. Even if I had that type of money, I'd still be the same person.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
You feel like you would be the same person.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I just have a nicer car, but I'd be the same person.
Definitely.
My house be bigger. But yeah, I think people, it's just part of the music business, man. This is how people are in the music business, period. They're just not really like genuine people like that, for real. You know
yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll move on to my next section. This is for the nerds. This is just going to be kind of some of the technical, VSTs and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
What are some of your most regularly used plugins in VSTs?
Arteria, they're Sweet, UVI, Vintage, what is it? Vintage Vault 2.
Yep, that's what Mario put me onto. I use that all the time.
Yeah, I put him on that. You know
hey, well, there you go. You put him on it and he passed over to me.
Come on, Mario. Yeah, so Vintage Vault, RC20, of course. Everybody uses RC20. Baby Audio, tape plugin, tape, or whatever they just have spelled. Yeah. It's actually pretty good. It reminds me of the J joint. The
J37.
Yeah, it kind of has that vibe to it. Like, I use that. Vinyl. You know what I'm saying? It's no rules of this shit. So you could use all this shit in conjunction with each other on the same master chain.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? So as far as like pianos, what's that company? LXN?
Yeah, XLN Audio.
Shout, they send me free stuff too. Shout them out too. So I use their pianos on stuff. The Native Instrument bundle, the stock upright piano that comes in there. Fire.
It's really good. Yeah, super fire.
I use that on damn near everything. I use that a lot too. Reason actually has some dope ass sounds, but it's just been a long time before I just like went strictly stock Reason sounds. Yeah. But they actually have a lot of crazy good stuff.
No, Reason has like good synths, like good stock sounds. Like, they have great stuff.
Yeah, I use this stuff most if I'm doing beats or something like that. I use a lot of their like stuff. Man, that's Soothe. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much guitar rig
stuff.
Yeah, guitar rig and Amplitude.
Yep, I've used that before as well.
Yeah. That's pretty much all I can think of. There's people like, what's the secret sauce? I'm like, man, I use the same shit y'all use.
No, it's all in the character of yourself. It's what you bring to the table. That's the sauce.
Right. It's the sauce. This is your texture. You know what I'm saying? Some guys have some secret sauce though. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna put them out there, but I know they secret sauce. But it's really in like, it ain't just regular shit you can do. You know, on the computer.
No, definitely.
Yeah. Like some dudes got some shit that's like, shit, that's next level. You know?
I know for me, I was trying to recently I've been really trying to up my texture game and like getting things crazier. And I've talked to some of these guys and it's like, they use a lot of those Chase Bliss guitar pedals, like the Thermae and Blooper and all that. And they'll be like, I'll bounce stuff out and then I'll just tweak stuff on the Blooper or tweak stuff on the Thermae as it's going. And then they end up getting these crazy things.
I had all that shit before, and you can do that shit in the computer low key. Like shout out my boy, what's his name? Cymatics. You ever heard Cymatics before?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, their joint is like Thermae that just came out with. Damn, what's the name of it? I'm gonna send it to you when we get off.
Definitely.
But they have a VST that's exactly like Thermae.
I'll try it out. Like I'm always trying to do different stuff.
It's exactly like it, bro. Like Sound Toys, low key. If you put a lot of that shit together,
I love the Sound Toys bundle, bro.
I've had it for years and slept on it for real until I made this collage Qs 2.
Yeah, I listened to that pack this morning.
Right? Yeah, a lot of that was Sound Toys, and that shit sounded fire. I was like, yo, Sound Toys got some texture, bro. Low key. in
That's
there.
what I always use. Like that's my like go-to for manipulating sound and really like transforming or reshaping a sound. Like
yeah, I
it's
slept.
crazy.
I completely slept on it because the only thing I really was using a lot was like the capitator on beats.
Yeah, I mean it's warm, it slaps. That that preamp or whatever it's based on like adds like a lot of warmth. So that's like a good go-to thing.
Yeah. Plug-in lines too. Shout out plug-in lines. I'm sponsored by them as well. I'm sponsored by a lot of people actually.
I mean, you're doing a lot of work.
Hey man, you know what I'm saying? It's all in how you reach out to people, man. Well, plug-in lines has a lot of crazy dope stuff, and it's dumb cheap too. Actually, like they always have like just crazy deals for like their plugins and stuff that sound damn near close to like a lot of the stuff is emulating. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A lot of this shit people wouldn't know what it was because a lot of it's based off actual like hardware stuff. You know what I'm saying? But if you know what the hardware stuff does, yeah, you like okay. You know what I'm saying? You sounding crazy. Like the black box joint.
Oh, it's insane. Yeah, black box is incredible.
Yeah. I might need to buy a real one. That joint is really like it's just like the capitator pretty much, but just more different saturation settings and stuff like that.
Yeah, I know Jason Joshua, like one of the GOAT engineers of all time. That's like his go-to for like drums and everything because it's just so good with all the saturation.
That guy, Jason Joshua, man, he's a very expensive mix engineer. I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah, I mean he's like one of the only engineers I've seen with a black card.
Yeah, he taxing, bro. You know what I'm saying? He's really busting for real.
So, what would you say are some of your most regularly used instruments or pieces of gear you have?
The B2 Bomber Burl. It's a man, I can't even explain what it does. It's a converter, really.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it takes the sound from out the DAW, and then you run it into it and back in, and it kind of like gives more analog warmth and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've seen you using that before, and you get like really good sounds out of that, I feel like.
Yeah. Converter actually, at first I was like, man, this is bullshit. But then once you started getting like the higher end, like speakers and stuff like that, and you see the difference between just using this like a regular ass, like no offense to Apollo, because I use Apollo, but using the Apollo and then going to something like the Burl as far as conversion, and then like running like your Simpson stuff and just different gear into it, you're like, oh shit, I see what the 3D shit when people be talking about, like it sounds like it's 3D, it comes in.
That's what it is once you get to the expensive stuff.
Yeah, I see what the difference is. I see why people mix on SSLs and other like analog gear, because that shit sounds, to the average person, it sounds no different. But if you person that has trained ears and kind of can hear it, it's like, this shit. It's like you can take a knife and just cut through it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's just crispy and clean and like high quality.
Yeah. On the cheap end, I would say the Zulu by Handsome Boy Audio.
Mm-hmm.
It's like pretty much like a passive tape machine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cheap too. It's like $600.
Yeah, I mean that's not that expensive for a tape machine at all.
Yeah, and it's another piece of gear I don't have, but I need to get. Shout out Coop and Oscar Zulu. Not Coop, but not Oscar Zulu. I forgot dude's name. Jordan. But the what's it called? God damn it. What's that thing called? Analog Heat.
I haven't heard of that.
Digit. Yeah. I gotta get one of those. You know what I'm saying? With Zulu and Analog Heat, it's like you don't really need any synth. You can just use VST stuff and run through that, and it'll sound like, you know what I'm saying?
That's
you couldn't tell the difference.
No, I love that. It's called Analog Heat. As you said, it's by like Digitech or something.
Yeah, Digit. Damn it, I can't pronounce the name of the company. But you type in Analog Heat too, you see it. It's like maybe like you can find and use for maybe like $600, but brand new is like $800.
Mm-hmm.
So if I just had if I had enough ins and outs, first of all, or had patch bay, I would just buy those two things and just like rock with just those two things.
Yeah.
If you just want to make stuff sound like texture, sound like it's analog, without it being analog and textured,
that's the move.
Yeah, that's the move for sure. Like, yeah.
What are some of the essential elements you gravitate towards when you're making a sample? We kind of touched on it a little bit with like bass, keys, guitar.
Bass keys, weird like synth sounds that drive, like that kind of like loop over and over. If you know, two of my favorite producers, Mike and Keys, right? If you listen to their production, because I study people's production and see how kind of like I can dissect how they make beats and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And one thing that they did, and I kind of learned from it, like when I was like kind of doing, well, still making beat stuff, but it's like this one driving thing through the track. Like I would say before, like that one specific weird sounding thing that I look for, even when I work with other producers. It's like I need that one thing like that drives it. And it's like, okay, shit, this is the sound that makes it unique. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then like the rest of the stuff, I can just do whatever normal stuff around that. You know what I'm saying?
So that's like key is like finding something that's that unique piece of the sample that is like the core idea or great element, and then you can build around that with more regularly used stuff, but having something unique that stands out is like essential to a great sample.
Right. If you go listen to the Big Sean Travis Scott song, I did a sample breakdown of this too. It's one sound I have going through the whole thing that sounds like it's a guitar, but it's not a guitar, it's a synth sound. So that for that sample, it's like the unique thing about it. That ding, da, 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 and it's kind of pitchy, just like that one unique thing about it, like that drives it. That's like, okay, this makes it sound like, what the fuck is this? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So just finding that one thing, even if you just if you're gonna create texture, you can just create texture for that one thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's smart.
The rest of it, you just build around it to complement it. You know.
I love that. No, that's a really good piece of advice. I'm definitely gonna take that back to my own production when I go to cook up samples today.
Yeah, do it, man. You'd be surprised, man. Like you got your guitars and shit, and you got your pedals. Make something like just crazy sounding on the guitar, but it don't have to be long. Like I said, it can be 2 to 4 bars, and just loop it up and just try to build something around that, and counter melodies and counter bass lines and stuff around that, and you'd be surprised, like, oh shit, you know what I'm saying? I made something just like unique, but still normal at the same time.
I'm definitely going to do that today. Like, I love the concept of like, you know, taking a small snippet or a small piece of something and then, you know, maybe a 2 or 4 bar loop. But then by you adding all these other elements, you can create like an 8 bar loop out of it, you know, or different things.
Yeah. You just build around it. Like, you know, it's just like, you know, sampling, man. Back in the day, they used to take something like 4 bars, dun 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 dun, and they just add all the others, you know, drums and stuff around it. You know, it's the same concept, man. I just try to use that same approach to it, you know, when I do stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't always need to be a super lush, crazy composition. It can be just the core elements that end up getting placed and listened to.
Right, because when you think about it, it's kind of a waste of time when you think about how people sample and use stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's either they're going to chop it up and make their own thing out of it, or they're just going to use that one little part they find is unique. You know what I'm saying?
It's true.
So, yeah.
No, it's helpful advice for sure. How important is leaving space in samples and production, whether that's space between chords or like leaving out a bass line?
It makes or break a sample or a song, really. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to like placements and being a producer and stuff, it'll definitely, some artists, if you can be like, make the craziest sounding beat, just like all these crazy changes and different, but if they can't write to it and it doesn't give them space to be creative, then they can't really use it. It's the same thing with the samples. Like you can make some shit that you just, that's crazy to listen to, but you know, it may just be too much going on for the producer to be like, I don't really know what to do with this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, that's why people back in the day they learn how to filter samples. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Being able to take the drums out of a sample or a certain part out of a sample or turn it down some, it's like crazy. They're like, oh man, you know, that's because they couldn't really do what they need to do to it, you know.
Because there was so much going on already.
Right. You know, they couldn't add their drums because the drums were already doing this, or they couldn't, you know, do whatever. So they were, okay, I didn't know you filtered this frequency to turn this down or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Yeah.
One thing that I've been doing recently is there's a plugin by Isotope, and it's called RX. I don't know if you've ever.
Yeah. Woo.
Yeah. So RX.
That's a cheat code. That's a real cheat code for real.
So
if you want to cheat.
That's been my cheating thing lately, in a way, to learn. Is I've been taking I'll take like a song that I really like, or even like an old song. It could be, doesn't matter. And I'll run it through RX, and I'll remove the vocals and I'll remove the drums and just listen to what's left. And I'll be like, okay, like this is a good idea to like what I should use in a sample. It's like from like how the chords like change to like what the instruments that are actually in the sample, you know, it's just like, I feel like it gives you a much more clear roadmap of like how to make music that's meant to have vocals and drums added back in.
Really. And the thing about it is you'll find out that it's really not as intricate as you think it is.
Yeah.
Like the music that they do is really like simple stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like the guitar stuff don't even be crazy. Like dun dun dun. Dun dun dun. You know what I'm saying? But with everything else in, you think it's like so much stuff going on and just like elaborate, but it's really not. So I try to keep that approach with the samples too. Like every time I break down a sample to somebody, they're like, damn, I didn't realize it wasn't that much stuff in it. I'm like, because all of it together, it just makes one big texture and just one big thing. But when you strip it apart, you'll find out it's just load of small pieces and parts.
Yeah, it's all the small, simple pieces that add together to create this big lush thing.
Right. Yeah, man.
Definitely. What are some of the most underrated or slept on plugins or gear in your opinion?
Slept on. Damn, that's a good one. Huh. I don't know. Slept on plugins or gear. I'll tell you one piece of gear that's like super dope that people slept on. Hydrosynth.
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
Oh yeah, man, that shit is hard. If you're not it's easy to program synths on it. Just program shit on it or whatever, because everything's like right there. So if you kind of have like just a basic idea of how to program stuff, you can make some dope ass sounds on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think I put Oscar Zulu on it. I think he bought one. I know Coop had one at one point in time or whatever, but I was like, yeah, Hydrosynth is cold. You know
Definitely.
What I'm saying? And pretty cheap too. You can find one for pretty reasonable price. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, piece of let's see, VST, UVI stuff people sleep on for real. A lot of people don't really know about UVI stuff.
No,
Probably
I mean everybody I work with,
expensive.
I've never seen somebody use it, and the synth anthology bundle is crazy. Like the vintage vault stuff.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's really like it's really a lot of. I bought the tour bundle too, like around Christmas time. That shit is hard. Like if you want like bells and like toy sounding pianos and stuff, just a bunch of just toy sound and stuff that people probably use to make samples and shit. Just like they go buy some stuff. They got a lot of that stuff in there, and it sounds like super dope. So
I agree.
I say UVI, but it's not cheap though. That's the thing about this stuff. It's not like it's probably the same price as Arteria. I'll take that back.
Yeah,
$500 or something.
Yeah, I think I got the vintage vault. I don't think I paid like too much for it, honestly. Like I know I got like the synth anthology. I have like the orchestral suite as well, like which is pretty solid. Like definitely worth it.
Yeah, I would say UVI stuff. People should see people because it's basically the same thing as Native Instruments. It's like their competitor, really. Like the Contact.
Yep.
So that's pretty much their like, you know, competitor thing or whatever. Their Mellotron thing on there is dope. Mellow.
Yeah. I haven't tried the UVI one yet, but I've used the Arturia one, and that Arturia Mellotron preset is insane.
Yeah. You used Mtron Pro? Mtron? Yeah, that's another one it's probably better than both of those put together, really.
I'm down to try it.
The sounds, but yeah, their stuff is really good on the people that make that. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. What is some secret sauce that you wish you had known earlier on when you started out making samples?
Secret sauce I wish I learned early on. That's another good one. That you are the secret sauce Don't chase sounds. Don't chase trends. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. It's like what you make and what's unique about you is what's gonna be the thing that propels you, you know, to where you want to go. You know, I noticed that like with a lot of producers started doing that. They started when Coop first came out, and him and Nami and stuff, they had like such a unique sound. It was totally different. You know what I'm saying? And then now it's just like a million Coops and a million Namis.
Everybody wanted that sound because it was just so like different, you know?
It was totally different. You know what I'm saying? I found myself kind of falling into that a little bit, like with specific stuff or whatever. But just doing you and just being unique to what you like and what you make, man, it matters. And that's you the secret sauce. You know what I mean?
100%.
That's the thing. Like your taste and what you like is your secret sauce. Everything else is just tools. You know what I'm saying? Really, you know, all the VSTs and all of just the analog gear and stuff like it's just a tool. You know what I mean? To get to where you want to go faster, a little faster, 5% faster. You know.
Yeah, it's all about what you do and what you bring to the table at the end of the day. Because I've noticed, even for myself, like if I ever sit down and I try to create something that's like somebody else's sound, it never flows as easily as me just picking up the guitar and just playing like what I feel like just feels like me, something that I like. You know, I'll play something that I'm like, okay, this is pretty sick, and then starting from there and then adding stuff. And yeah, I might take like an idea or a concept. I'll be like, oh, they have like a really reverby kind of, you know, like tom sound or something, and I'll put that in there as like my snare. Or maybe it's like, oh, they do some volume pumping with like shaper box or that kind of thing. I'll take those concepts, but definitely just sticking to what I like, or like, because I notice with me, like I tend to gravitate towards certain chord changes and things I like, or certain, you know, like I'm a huge fan of like using diminished chords and like leading chord stuff. And it's just part of my sound that I never feel comfortable copying somebody else, because it just feels like it's just disingenuous to me at the end.
Right. Like you can take like you said, like the vibe of it, or just kind of like just the you know what I'm saying, the idea, like the gist of like, okay, I like something. I like that technical thing they did, like you said, with the pumping and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I know Nami does that, you know what I'm saying? And I do it sometimes on stuff. Like I throw Reason has like this like side chain thing or whatever. I do it sometimes on stuff to give it movement. Because what it does is just give you like extra movement to, you know, and usually even then I probably bring it in like on the verse part or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, just like little technical stuff, and just say, okay, I see what you did there. You know, I like how, you know, that's cool. But like once you get into like the texture thing and stuff like that, where you like, okay, that sounds like so and so. You know what I mean? Whatever. You know. But you know, at the end of the day, man, I guess it's just make music. If you like it that much to like make it like it, then cool. Whatever. No one cares at the end of the day. But yeah.
Just be authentic to yourself and your own taste, and then, you know, don't try to make it at least too blatantly obvious that you're copying a certain sound.
Yeah, it's to the point now they're going crazy with it. You know what I'm saying? with their sound. I done heard stuff that sounds like my shit, like for real. You know what I'm saying? A few guys I've heard this stuff like sound exactly like my stuff. And I'm like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And some people's stuff is too hard to recreate. You can't do it. You know what I'm saying? Like Mario, you can't. You need a fucking live musicians, and you need the analog gear. You need the stuff to create it, to have that texture and sound that he has. You know what I'm saying?
It's true. So, his sound is very, very authentic to like what he's going for. And again, that's his own taste. He's following his taste. He's not copying someone else.
Nah. This is like what he loves with his heart and soul. So he makes what you hear is coming out of his heart and soul. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
So that's the main thing, man. Just do you, get better. You know what I'm saying? If you producers back in the day, man, they didn't play instruments like that for real. They were producers. They put the people together to play their ideas of what they had. So a lot of times guys get frustrated because they feel like they're not good enough, versus understanding I can give you the idea, come up with the melody, and you can give it somebody, they can take it somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's what producing is. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it's like your taste and your thoughts matter, and they can take you where you want to go. You can put other people in position to do what you need them to do.
Yep.
To make it sound like you want to sound or whatever. But, you know, that's
I agree
a whole nother conversation.
No, I agree 100% with that. I mean, even if you think about like back in the day, like in the 60s and 70s with session musicians, it was like there was music that was the concept. It's like, okay, these are the chord changes, this is the tempo, but then everybody brings their own personal element. You have those Motown James Jamerson bass lines that were melodic and had completely different approach than a normal bass player. You know, you had certain drummers who had certain feels that were just unique to them. Like you could have 3 different drummers play the same beat and they're all going to be unique.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like that stuff matters. That's the stuff that make your sound unique. You know what I'm saying? It could be the same idea, same melody, but you know what I'm saying? Just your uniqueness with it, you know what I'm saying? Kind of, you know, takes it to like another level.
I agree. All right, we'll move on to my final 5. These are going to be my last 5 questions for you. Okay. And they could be a 1 sentence or 1 word. They don't have to be very long if you don't want them to be. But if you feel like you want to elaborate on something, you definitely can.
All right, pass the ball. Let's get it.
What is something you wish more people did in their music?
Be original.
Definitely. I would agree with that. What is something that used to be important to you that you no longer care about?
I guess approval.
Yeah.
Community approval. Yeah.
No, I like that.
Yeah.
What would you say is the best way for a sample maker to improve their samples?
That's a good one. Hire a session musician, really. Like you got to, you play the idea, just find somebody to play it better than you, and then like okay, cool, and keep it moving. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, if it's a skill thing, like playing the guitar, playing the bass, playing the keys, you can practice on it, but I don't necessarily think immediately it's gonna make you a better sample maker, like right then and there. If you're trying to get the sample done and just do it, like put the idea down, be like, hey man, Joe Blow, can you play this better than I'm playing it? You know?
And bring them in and make it happen.
Right. I mean, that's what Mario does. That's what other people do. Like, that's what producers do. You know, Diddy gonna have somebody come in and play some shit.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And keep it moving. And like, save time, man. Save the headache of trying to figure it out like that, you know?
Yeah, you don't need to do everything yourself. Like, if you can get the idea out, bring in somebody to help you execute the idea to the level that you want at the speed you need to.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
That's smart. What is the worst advice you've ever received?
Worst advice I ever received? Damn. I don't know. Worst advice? You can't be a producer and sample maker.
Yeah,
do either or.
Whack. That's whack.
Stupid as shit. Like, like that.
No, I mean, I've seen Des Wright make samples and has gotten placements for his beats.
Right. Des Wright's mad cold. So it's like, that's probably, I wouldn't even say that verse. That's like the dumbest thing I've heard somebody say.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even say it's advice because it's terrible advice, but that's probably one of the stupidest things. I'm like, bro, what are you talking about right now? You know?
Yeah, no, because I mean, music is so vast and there's so many different avenues and ways to do things, and you don't have to stop one to do another. It's like better, even I would argue it's better to be more holistic and be good at everything.
Right. You know what I'm saying? I use other people's samples. I'm a sample maker. I still use other people's stuff to make beats, and you know what I'm saying? I don't know. People weirdos.
Yeah. And my last question for you today is going to be, what is the best advice you've ever received?
The best advice I ever received, it's probably from myself, is to keep going and like believe in myself and do what's true to me and do what's got me where I am today. Like, you know, I know one thing I like, me personally, in my business career or whatever, just dealing with like people are trying to tell you to do one thing or tell you why you shouldn't do something or whatever, or that's not a good idea. You know what I'm saying? But I prove myself right every time, sticking to what I wanted to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that's why I don't even listen to people anymore, man. Like if you ain't contributing or trying to build me up or help me get to where I want to be, I'm not even listening to what you're saying. Because when I get there, then you can be like, oh yeah, man, we made it, we did it. I know you could do it. And I'm like, nah, you fucking didn't. You told me to do something totally opposite.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So listen to yourself, man, and just, feel confident about yourself and what you're doing and believe in what you're doing. You can be terrible, still believe in yourself and keep going, you know what I'm saying? And figure that shit out. Because you'll figure out, oh, I'm bad at this, but I'm way better at putting these people together to do what I need them to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And getting shit done. I'm a leader, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. So listen to yourself, man. Listen to your mind and just, get around good people with good energy,
That is essential.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, being around, like, I can definitely attest to that recently, is like being around the right people with the right energy, or being around people that like inspire you to not only push yourself, but like maybe work differently or work more quickly, or just something that makes your process and your approach to making music more efficient and better.
Yeah, just challenge you to think outside of what you would normally think. You know what I'm saying? Think about it in a different way, a different approach or whatever. And that may like open a door in your mind. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh shit, you know what I'm saying? Like Mario, for example. Good friend, like good energy. I didn't know him from a can of paint, bro. I had never heard of Mario Luciano before in my life.
Yeah.
He hit me up like, man, you need to make samples, man. You super dope. I was like, oh shit, let me really look into this sample making shit. And it changed my life. You feel me?
Yeah, no, I mean, that's amazing. And it's so true. Like, it could come from out of nowhere. And, I'm somebody who believes that you're always moving at the right pace, and the right things happen to you at the right times. Even if it seems negative at a moment, it's like, this is teaching you a lesson that's actually going to benefit you in the long run.
Right, man. Just having it's tough. Don't get me wrong. It's tough because like some days I'm toxic, some days, you know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
So what it is, I got some toxic going on right now on my IG, you know what I'm saying? Talking about these people that like talk shit about sample makers and producers, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And just weirdo stuff. But they like, when you think about it, man, I know multi-million-dollar companies, sample making companies, guys that make millions of dollars. Like, what are you talking about right now? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So like, bro, stop it with the cap. But nah, just having good energy and good people around you, man. It just opens up so many doors and just does a lot for you, man, when you're trying to do what you're trying to do, man. You know what I'm saying?
I agree 100%, man. Well, thank you so much for taking all this time with me today and chatting about a variety of subjects. And I really feel like you're adding a lot of value to the audience, to the sample making community in general. Like, your music is pushing music in good directions. You're bringing inspiration to the table. You're bringing helpful advice. You're a cool person. You're a genuine person. And, I just appreciate you for being here and really, really helping everybody.
Man, no problem, man. Like I said before we had a conversation, I'm like, man, anything you need from me, you need me to tap in, hit up dudes to get on here and stuff like that. Anything you need, man. I have like no ego when it comes to like helping people or just like giving my advice or whatever and just like lifting people up, man. Because one person did it to me, I hope I can do it to somebody else. You know what I'm saying? To like lift them up and like open a door in their heart or mind to get where they want to be and realize that their dreams are possible.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like that's the way that you're gonna get through life the best, is like helping others as like other people have helped you.
Right. For sure, man. Glad you had me on here, man. I really enjoyed it, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like therapeutic for today, you know what I'm saying? They started off toxic. Now I feel better.
I love that, man. That's the goal. If I can make, add some value to your life and make you feel better about yourself and your day, like, and realize, just reaffirm how dope you are and how, you are doing things for the right reasons. Like, that makes me feel good too, bro.
For sure, man. I'm glad you had me on here, man.
Of course.